We'll go ahead and get started tonight. This is a regular design review board meeting of the City of Milton. I'm Ken Warlick. This is a 7-member board appointed by the City of Milton Mayor and City Council, created for the purpose of holding public hearings and making recommendations. The Design Review Board reviews plans and makes recommendations to the Community Development Director for the developments, except single-family residential, in the form-based code and overlay districts. In addition, the Design Review Board approves or denies demolition requests and makes recommendations to the Board of Zoning of Appeals on variances. So with that said, I would like to please ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for that. All right, so moving on, we will we'll do an introduction of our staff and our board members.
Jackie Jennings, city staff.
Rima Abdel Fattah, city staff.
Michael Carterman, city staff.
Ralph Davia, board member.
Celeste Jackson, Saddle Springs Drive.
Ken Warlick, Hipworth Road.
Danielle Gagney, Morning Mountain Way.
And Danella, Haybridge Lane.
All right, great. So moving on for our agenda tonight, I'd like to call for an approval and or an amendment of tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion for an approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Okay. So next I'll call for the approval of the meeting minutes from, let's see, was it May? Sorry.
May 6th.
May 6th.
May 6th, Design Review Board.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from May 6th Design Review Board meeting.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right. It's unanimous. Okay. So next, we're going to go ahead and get started with demolition of structures. So the first tonight we have, or actually, do we have an action report? It says approval of May 6th. Oh, action report from last week, or last month.
yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, so 5A is 13560 Cogburn Road.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, and everyone. Our first case for tonight is 13560 Cogburn Road. The applicant is Father Reggie Simmons, representing St. Aidan's Episcopal Church. Father Simmons requests to demolish the Darracott Wallace house that was built in the late 19th century. So it's zone AG1, and existing use of the property is church. So this is the aerial view that pinpoints the location of St. Aidan's Church. It's adjacent to Highway 9, Bethany Bend. There's the site plan that was provided to us. Shows you the location of the structure to be demolished. And as you can see, it's closer to the Cogburn Road, but the main sanctuary, you can find it at the back. Area right here where my cursor is, and of course parking spaces for the church. So just a little bit of history. The house was constructed between circa 1890 and 1899. It's owned by the Darracott family. This structure or the property sold to St. Aidan's in 1995. So here are some photos that they provided us to show the Darracott family and what that house looks like back in 1952. And of course, 1995, the second picture down. Some other information here that the old barn used to be on that property was demolished before the city's incorporation. And also another important detail, Mr. Curtis Mill, who is a church parishioner, donated towards the renovation of that house in memory of his good friend John Wallace, who died in the World Trade Center attack on September 11, 2001. So we've got several photos here that I'm going to show you just to give you an idea of what the existing conditions. So we'll start with the exterior part first. Here's another elevations, shows the back and the side of the house. Here's a view of the cottage from across the street. To give you an idea what the present materials or existing materials shows you sign of deterioration, discoloration. This is part of the front porch. Windows and shutters condition. Here, just want to show you some moisture damage, paint chipping, and some discoloration of the siding. Here's some interior photos showing you the condition of especially the floor, because one thing I noticed that the floor is very uneven. You'll see nail holes and some cracks and gaps. So moving on, this house is listed in a Georgia Historic Resources GIS and the City of Milton Historic Survey list. And it underwent several renovations throughout the years, resulting in some loss of its historic significance, especially the architectural character of the house. As mentioned earlier, there's some signs of deterioration in the foundation and exterior materials, and visible signs of wear, nail holes, and uneven interior floors. So given the importance of this house to the community, staff explored options to preserve the house. So we reached out first to Milton Historical Society and to collaborate with them and identify some alternatives, which I highlighted down here. The first one is to donate the cottage to Kings Ridge for use as a clubhouse adjacent to their athletic fields. Solicit some interest from the community to relocate the cottage to a larger property for use as a guest house. And lastly, to reach out to specific individuals who have an interest in relocating the house for commercial or residential purposes. So with these efforts, MHS reached out to Kings Ridge preservationists and members of the community, informing them about this opportunity. So although there were some interest, these efforts did not yield a firm commitment to relocate the cottage. So in conclusion, several exterior and interior alterations over the years have resulted in some loss of historic architectural character. As mentioned earlier, efforts to preserve the cottage by reaching out to community members have not been successful, and the building is no longer in use. And of course, restoration and maintenance would be costly and labor intensive for the church just to keep it up to code to fire and building standards. So with that, staff recommends approval of the demolition per the site plan with the following conditions: complete a demo permit application, level and grass area that was disturbed, and lastly, no trees to be removed without a permit. Any question for staff before we call in the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, so at this time, I would like to ask the applicant to come forward, and if there's anything you have to add to that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Father Reggie Simmons. I'm the rector at St. Aidan's, been here since summer of 2017. And this is a very good presentation of the home. I would just add that it is uninhabitable, unusable. It's not in our budget to restore it. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, it obscures the parish. If you are coming down Cogburn, all right, we're down, the church is located down in a valley. And many people have commented to me, is that little place out front, that little house out front, is that the church? No, that's not the church. Thus ultimately resulting in us losing people who would otherwise come check us out. And then finally, it's an eyesore. And as you can see, no one in the community wants it, and we're ready to tear it down. What are your questions?
Questions?
So I think I read this correctly, but I think it was something that the city gave to us. They said something about relocating it and using it
Well,
somewhere else, like on it. Did I read this right? It's 7 acre?
Yeah, well, Curtis Mills came before
Okay.
before the council, and he, for an extended period of time, 6 months to a year, and was prevented by either this board or at least some committee at city council. And so he just gave up. He was going to relocate it to his property over about 7 acres, but he no longer wants to do that, given the difficulty in trying to get it located. And I got a call from a gentleman asking me about it, and we went and we looked at it. He too does not want it. So we tried.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? No? All right. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
So next steps for us, do you all vote as to whether we're going to?
Yeah, so we've got to go through the gambit. We've got to open for public comment, and then we'll discuss as a board, ask staff if we have any additional questions, and then we'll make our recommendation.
Roger that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so seeing that, moving on, any public comment?
We don't have one.
We have none. Okay. I will close public comment and any board discussion.
I have a question for Jackie.
Mhm.
Do we have any history on what he spoke about? Because I believe all of that happened before we were on the board.
No. Well, yeah, before you guys were, yeah.
Yeah.
It was not this board that turned it down.
Yes, it's not on this board.
Hmm.
Okay.
It was
It
beautiful.
would, it's actually I believe it's a zoning modification, so it went to council.
Not this board. So Jackie, also too, is this something that would be interested to like JLM possibly for over on his parcel? Is the
We
city?
did reach out to him,
You
but
did?
yeah,
Okay.
he's not interested. After he did his due diligence, I think it'd probably be costly for him to do all of that. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay. Any other discussion? So I'll just say it's unfortunate because I do like preserving history, but at the same time too, over the years, the term preserving morphs into sometimes with these structures into kind of Swiss cheese with, meeting electrical codes, meeting plumbing codes, and making the house habitable. Fortunately, we do have the Historical Society, but it sounds to me like staff and the applicant have done their due diligence as far as trying to reach out, and 788 citizens of the community were not interested in this. And so for me, although I hate to see something like this go, I understand that it's a hodgepodge of, 100 years of rework and too costly to really kind of bring into its original condition. And so for that, I would say I would vote to approve this demolition. Any other discussion?
So once it's deemed a historical property, is there?
Well, it's on the historical register.
Register.
Mhm.
Are there any guidelines that the city, like that house now, I mean, it was purchased pre-Milton.
Mhm.
So what does that mean as far as being able to change it? And because it's been so significantly changed, it doesn't look historic to me.
Mhm.
So I'm just curious because we have all these stipulations about barns, but we don't really have a lot of guidelines about changing them. Or, this type of structure.
Modifications.
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
think unfortunately, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, is just because it's on the registry it doesn't prevent any kind of work on the structure. If it was actually, what is the historic preservation? What is it?
Yeah, if it becomes if it's listed in the National Registry,
There you go.
then you
Yeah, the
can't.
National
Yeah.
Register.
Then at that point,
There
I
are,
believe there are guidelines and stipulations.
okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, this is no more than like a detached structure. Yeah. So.
I
Yeah.
mean, is there any cost to keeping it currently on the lot? Like, say, we delayed a vote for 6 months or something to see if there really was no option for this?
How long has this been going on, Jackie?
So,
Like when you said that staff reached out, was that 30 days ago or was that?
yeah,
60?
so originally we were planning to present it in May. But, we told the applicant, hey, let's do our due diligence. The city will have to reach out with the Milton Historical Society just to, make sure if they have any recommendations. And so, yeah. So we just have a month.
I mean, that's a good point. Because Kings Ridge, I reached out to the chair of the board and he had no idea.
Mhm.
No idea. Never heard of it.
And I don't want to incur or have them incur any additional costs or hardship,
Agree.
delaying this. However, I would also hate to vote to demo it today and then have someone have come up and said, I was working on something. I don't know.
Fair. Okay.
I just feel like there's got to be an option. I mean,
Yeah.
Looks like they exhausted a lot of their options though.
sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately too.
And they
like,
did.
The logistics of moving that. I've looked at it before too with a historic home in Alpharetta. And it was just the expense to lift it off its foundation,
Sure.
and move it in one piece, and then the logistics of essentially getting it from point A to point is almost next to impossible with power lines and
Sure.
so that's
Yeah, it's definitely not without
yeah.
its challenge.
I think that moving it is probably, and then you get to stuff like that where it's okay, well, we can do it, but we got to cut it in half, and then how much, then it's trying to restore it.
Well, they also had an option and they were going to move it. And then.
Sorry, can you speak closer to the microphone? I can't hear you.
They did have an option and they were going to move it, but then the city it was shut down. It was going to be renovated into an actual really pretty cool place there at 7 Acre.
Mm.
And they were ready to move it. They got shut down on the design.
Was it because of the zoning? Was it because it was zoned for church or like?
They could reason
It
that.
was event space or something.
Yeah.
They were going to renovate it into an event space to the back of 7 Acre, right where there's a bunch of
Hotel
parking
place.
in there.
I believe they're going to probably repurpose that building.
They were gonna
Yes,
repurpose it.
Going to increase density. So the community probably speak about that they
So-
don't want it. And we reached out to Mr. Curtis Mill when we received this application, and he's no longer interested.
I can imagine. So
Mhm.
timeline wise, if that case came before us a year ago,
It was like,
Plus,
If
yeah,
not longer.
year.
I think it was longer.
Yeah, or 2 years ago. I
Yeah, it was
think,
like 2 years ago.
they've been trying.
And if there was another option out there, it would be similar probably
Sure.
to that. And there was already a no. So I don't know what other option it would be.
Right.
Kings Ridge sounds like a great idea, but, and
I hate it too, but it's already been modified
Exhausted.
so much
Yeah.
and then
Sure.
there's so much work that needs to be put into it, I guess.
Mhm.
Unfortunate, it's a shame.
The other thing is too, is the fact that this has been put in front of the Milton Historical Society. And I imagine if there was an uproar or if there was some sort of, disagreement in the structure and how it currently sits and the shape that it's in, that there would have probably been some sort of public comment or some sort of
Sure.
letter or something, right? But we don't
Somebody
have.
representing them tonight.
Correct. And we don't have that. So to me, that kind of gives the red flag that, hey, it's just not in the condition that, even though it's on the historic register, that it's not necessarily historic. So that's kind of where I came to my conclusion. So. What else? Any other thoughts? No?
no,
Like me to make a motion?
sure.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the demolition of the structure, the cottage at 13560 Cogburn Road.
I second.
So I have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Same sign opposed? All right. It's a 3-2, motion passes. Good luck, sir. I would say if you have a last chance of somebody trying to save it, we'd love to see it, but if not, you're free to go. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on. 5B, 360 Ponytail Road.
Good evening, Chair and board members.
Behind my house.
Okay, so we have the next item is 360 Ponytail Road. The applicant is Danica Rampino from McKellen Homes. The size of the lot is 5.09 acres, zoned R2. It's in the rural Milton overlay district in central Milton. Existing use is residential, and the home was built in 1980. The applicant is requesting to demolish the one-story wood frame house that includes a full basement. Here's the aerial view, just to the east of Cogburn Road. Site plan. Here's a close-up of the home to be demolished. Photos of the primary home. So the new property owner does plan to construct a new single-family residence on the property. So staff recommends approval of the demolition per the site plan with the following comments: complete the demo permit application, show the tree-safe fence and silt fence, cap water wall and or septic if not used, and that any disturbed or exposed soil must be leveled and permanently grassed. And I do have a slide here that shows the criteria for approving a demolition permit, which you're pretty familiar with. So any questions for staff?
Any questions? Thank you so much, Rima.
You're welcome. We
Appreciate it.
actually have the homeowner here tonight, Ms. Kylie Green, so.
Okay, great. Would you like to come on up, sir? And if you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we've submitted for the demo permit, so I believe you guys have everything for the silt fencing and site plan, and
Tree preservation.
I think we actually just submitted for the building permit as well.
Okay,
So if you have any questions for me,
great.
please ask.
What's the purpose of the demolition? Are you rebuilding bigger and better, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assumed, but I didn't want to assume.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, seeing no questions for the applicant, or no more, sorry. Any public comment?
We have none.
We have none, okay. I will close public comment. Board discussion?
Nope.
None? Okay, seeing none, I will call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the demolition of item 5B, is that right? 5B? 5B, 360 Ponytail Road, as presented.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, it's unanimous. Thank you, sir. Good luck. All right, moving on. Demolition 5C, 13970 Freemanville Road.
One 13970 Freemanville Road. The applicant is Mr. David Reinhardt. The size of the property is 1.113 acres, zoned AG1 in the rural Milton overlay district in central Milton. Existing use is residential. The home was built in 1956, and the applicant is requesting to demolish the one-story framed house and the asphalt driveway. Here's the aerial view, so you can see it's just right off Freemanville Road, north of Providence Road. This is the site plan. So just a little background. This property was part of a larger tract that totaled 4.357 acres that underwent a minor plat subdivision into 3 smaller lots in 2022. So here's a close-up. And some photos of the house to be demolished. So staff recommends approval of the demolition per the site plan with the following comments. Just complete the demo permit application, show the tree-safe fence and silt fence, cap water well or septic if not used, and then any disturbed or exposed soil must be leveled and permanently grassed. Any questions for staff?
I don't think so. Thank you, Rima. All right. Does the applicant want to come forward and add anything to Rima's presentation?
My son bought the 3.5 acres next to this lot, and he's building a house. So I bought the 1 acre just to get rid of the house. It's, old and outdated, and so I just want to make it disappear. I have no plans to build anything on it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
All right. Any questions for the applicant or no? Okay. I'll open up public comment.
We have none.
We have none. I'll close public comment. Board discussion. I was wondering when this one was going to come down.
I know.
No? Okay. So seeing no more discussion, I will call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item 5C, the demolition of 13970 Freemanville Road.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, it's unanimous. Good luck. Thank you, sir. Moving on, 5D, 2255 Dinsmore Road.
There was right there. Okay, so we have 2255 Dinsmore Road. So the applicant is John Gaston. The size of the lot is 1.099 acres, zoned AG1 in the rural Milton overlay district in central Milton. Existing use is residential, and this house was built in 1939, and the applicant is requesting to demolish this one-story home, a small storage shed, and the driveway. So this is the aerial view. A little northwest of Thompson Road. Here's the site plan.
I love it.
And a close-up of the site plan that shows the one-story frame house, the driveway, and the shed. Pictures of the house to be demolished. And pictures of the shed. So staff recommends approval of this demolition per the site plan with the following comments. Complete the demo permit application. Make sure to show the tree-safe fence and silt fence. Cap any water well and or septic that's not used, and then any disturbed or exposed soil must be leveled and permanently grassed. Any questions for staff?
Rima, I didn't see anything about it being on the historical registry or not, but 1939,
Yeah, it is not listed
Okay.
in Georgia
I mean, it
Historic.
doesn't look
or
like much
Milton.
of
Right.
history has been preserved on here. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Rima.
Okay, welcome.
All right, would the applicant like to come forward and add anything to that, or?
Hi, I'm Vic Jones. I live at 1125 South Bethany Creek Drive in Milton. And I've just been asked to come and represent John in this. So he is planning to demolish this and he's going to build a new house on this property.
All right,
Any questions?
no, thank you.
Okay.
Eloquently said, thank you. Seeing no more questions for the applicant, public comment.
We have none.
We have none. Closed public comment. Discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the demolition of 5D 2255 Dinsmore Road.
I'll second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. All in favor? Aye, it's unanimous. Congrats, good luck. Thank you, sir. Moving on, 5E 14860 Freemanville Road.
Okay, 14860 Freemanville Road. The applicant is Beth Bowersox with eCraft Homes. Size of the property is 1.93 acres, zoned AG1 in the rural Milton overlay district. Its existing use is residential. The year built is 1890, and the applicant is requesting to demolish this two-story home. So aerial view, you can see it's right off of Freemanville Road to the west, north of Rolling Links Drive. Site plan. So this was also part of a larger tract that was subdivided in December of 2024 into 3 lots. And then this lot was recently purchased in March of 2025, and the new property owner plans to construct a new single-family residence on this lot. Here's the zoom in of the site plan that shows the two-story home to be demolished. Here's some photos of the house to be demolished. So we recommend approval of the demolition for the site plan with the following comments: complete the demo permit application, show tree-safe fencing, silt fence. If not used, water well or septic must be capped, and then any disturbed or exposed soil must be leveled and permanently grassed. Any questions for staff?
I just have one, Rima. The demolition plan that we have in our packet is different from the one that you just showed up on screen.
Okay.
Really, the only difference is just essentially where the tree save and where the new driveway is going to go, which I'm assuming is removing the existing drive that goes over to the adjacent property.
Hmm.
Yeah, right there. So this is just a different one, but it looks like everything is in place. So was there a reason for that? Was it updated, or is it just?
This one that I have on my PowerPoint presentations from April 4th of 2025, so fairly recent. I'm not sure if the applicant dropped off a revised version of the site plan, but, and we actually have, I don't think Beth is here. I don't know who. Oh, we have, I think, the property owner.
Yeah, it's relatively the same. I mean, it's semantics at this point. I was just wondering if there was some sort of change. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
This house isn't listed in historic either.
No, surprisingly not.
I think this one was built years after. This is next to like the eCraft property that was there.
Yeah, you can see the original part of the building. You can see where it used to be, and then they Frankensteined it together.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Rima.
you're welcome.
All right, this is a part where the applicant can come up here and add anything to it if they want to.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Egan. I'm the engineer representing eCraft. I have nothing further to add.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I have nothing further
Oh,
to add.
okay, sorry. All right, great. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, thank you.
Cool.
Very
Thank you,
well
ladies
done.
and gentlemen.
All right, no more questions for the applicant. Public comment?
We have none.
We have none. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the demo of item 5E 14860 Freemanville Road as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for approval and a second. All in favor? Aye, it's unanimous. Congrats. Thank you, sir. All right. Moving on. So we will start with 6A, our courtesy reviews. Starting off is case U25-02 14505 Batesville Road.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Before I started, I'm going to do a little surprise. I don't know if you've heard, but our wonderful Jackie Lim has decided to go on the other side of the lobby to the finance department. And so we just want to recognize her and her wonderful work that she's done with you all, as well as working with all parts of our department. So just wanted to give them a really big round for her hard work and providing the staff reports to you all and all the information you need. So
You don't
I
like staying?
sorely miss her. So
You don't like staying till 11 o'clock some nights? I was going to wait till new business, Robin, but thank you.
okay, well, I'll say it from a staff perspective, and you can say okay, because I'm going to leave after this because I have
Okay.
3 meetings this week. So sorry. So tonight, this is a courtesy review, and you're kind of wondering, well, why are we looking at this? This is Little River Farms. It's an existing rural event facility at Batesville and Taylor Road. The gist of it is that the applicant, the owner, the trust is requesting to reduce the legal description of the original use permit that was approved in 2014. So it originally was 47.7 acres, well, it is currently, and they're proposing to reduce it to 35.87. As I go through it, Mr. Reese has provided a wonderful exhibit to make it very clear what's happening. So, and also the applicant is not requesting any changes to the existing operation of the rural event facility. And just as a recap, what was approved and still would remain the conditions for operation is Friday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Music ends no later than 11 p.m. Maximum 45 dBA 1 hour prior to music ending. Alcohol ceases service 15 minutes before music ending. Facility closes at midnight. Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Music ends no later than 10 p.m. Maximum 45 dBA 1 hour prior to music ending. Alcohol ceases service 15 minutes before music ending. Facility closes at 11. Amplified sound of music shall be located within the enclosed portion of the atrium. All deliveries shall enter off of Batesville Road. And then when portable toilets are used, they shall not be viewed from Batesville Road, which I don't think that's an issue anymore because in the beginning they might have used them, but now they have facilities. So that is the gist of what they have currently. And just go through. Here is the location. As you see, this is Cherokee County on the west with the Little River being their border, and then Batesville Road and Taylor Road. So this is the, let me get it down a little bit. This is the exhibit to show what is being excluded and then added. So the green is the original use area right here. And now they are proposing to basically chop off this approximate 15, 16 acres here that abuts to Little River Farms, and then to add the portion that is basically, much of it is their tree farm. So then you equal to the now proposed approximate 35 acres. So that is what they're asking to do, is to kind of reconfigure the legal description. Now, nothing in this area there's no parking, there's no structures, there's nothing that is impacted if it is taken away from the use permit. So, and this is provides more of a type of buffer of, along with the trees, the Christmas trees. So it is zoned AG1, all that pukey green color there. And then we have some view from Taylor Road towards Batesville Road. Then we have view from Taylor Road a little bit further looking north. And then this is from Batesville Road over across one of the ponds. And the entrance a little further to the north. Or actually to the south, I'm sorry. And that is that. So there are no new structures being proposed. It's just, we have to go through this process to get just a recommendation from you all. So with that, I will close the staff's report.
Great. Thank you, Robin. Are there any questions for Robin?
Nope.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Reese, if you'd like to come on up, and if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
Well, in the interest of brevity, I'm not going to present my full 30-minute. But I will put the site plan up that shows the property. So this is the Little River Farms. Members of the board, I am Scott Reese, Brumlow Reese & Associate, doing business at 13685 Highway 9, Milton, Georgia, 30004. I'm here tonight representing the Ivy family in their application to modify their existing rural event facility located at the corner of Taylor and Batesville Road. The Ivy family has owned Little River Farms for over 70 years. It was one of the largest commercial dairies in North Fulton, along with a large egg production farm. They sold the biggest part of the farm to Atlanta National Golf Course in the early 80s. Then sold another portion for the Valmont subdivision on the east side of Taylor Road. So this originally 60-acre parcel that they have tried to hold on to, but there are 8 heirs that are beneficiaries of the trust. 2 are elderly, 1 is disabled, and they are needing to cash out some of the assets. So the remainder of the trustees are trying to hold on to as much of the property as they can. And in doing so, we have brought forth a plan to modify the existing use permit and pull a section of the property out that was never used in the facility or the any form and or fashion of any of the wedding events or any of the other events. It was just additional property. So we're taking out 16 acres plus or minus from the original, adding back 5 acres. We thought it was kind of essential to demonstrate to the community that they were very interested in preserving that rural view shed and the total look of the facility. So that's where we're at. I think the most important thing to remember is that none of the operations whatsoever are changing. It's been in the initial was in 2014, the amended event facility in 2017 when they added events inside the barn. So there will be no additional land disturbing activities. There's no additional parking lots, any additional clearing areas, and the facilities that are there now will continue to be used in the same manner. All the conditions that were approved some years ago are still in place. We're not adding anything to that. So it is basically just here to change the legal description of the facility. Once again, I'll remind you that the minimum lot size for a rural event facility is 5 acres. We're roughly 7 times that. And I think we all realize that these special use of agricultural property or the set-asides are kind of what distinguishes Milton from Alpharetta and Roswell. And if we don't have these and we just, and everything's divided into the highest density possible subdivision, Milton really loses a lot of its character. So I would hope you would agree with us and see the need and the great benefit of keeping this facility. That being said, the applicant is here along with their legal representation. If you have any questions that I am unable to answer, I'm sure that they can. So if you have any questions, I or they will be able to come up with some sort of answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Reese? No? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no questions, I will open up public comment.
You have none.
We have none. Okay, I will close public comment. Board discussion?
I mean, from a design perspective.
Yeah,
All they're doing is combining and then replatting another piece out, right?
that's correct.
Is that because they want to sell off the other?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're gonna sell off the piece that doesn't have anything on it.
Cool. Okay. All right, seeing no discussion or no further discussion, I'd like to call for a motion.
I will make a motion to recommend approval of case U25-02-14505 Batesville Road.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion to recommend an approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, it's unanimous. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good luck. All right, moving on to our next courtesy review. Wow, we got a, is this more than what we read? 6B, V25-13, 1010 Linden Lane.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Variance courtesy review 6B, the applicant is Solomon Lee, and the address is 1010 Linden Lane. Variance request is to section 3.17B2 from the UDC to reduce the 20 feet minimum secondary rural view shed from Congreve Road to 3.2 feet for proposed single-family home driveway. Here's the aerial. Here's Linden Lane and then Cogburn going north. The zoning is AG1. This is located within the Linden Creek subdivision. Follow my cursor. All these lots in the Linden Lane cul-de-sac. Background information, the original single-family building permit was approved and issued by Community Development on May 31st, 2022. the applicant resubmitted the single-family building permit for review on July 22nd, 2024, and the permit was denied during the plan review process once the proposed driveway encroachment was discovered by city staff inside the 20-foot secondary rule view shed. City staff presented an alternative option to the applicant on August 1st, 2024, where the driveway is flipped on the other side, no variance is needed. The applicant submitted their variance application on May 2nd, 2025. Here's the proposed site plan. I'll have a zoom. Next slide. That better details. Here's the 40-foot view shed in yellow. Follow my cursor, that's 40 feet. And the secondary is an additional 20 feet. So the driveway is proposed to be 3.2 feet from that second threshold, which is the 40-foot. And they colored in blue the area of encroachment inside the view shed. This is the applicant's letter of appeal. That was in your digital packet. Here's the permit issuance. Again, this is their letter of appeal, so I'm going through their exhibits on their behalf, what they submitted. This is the permit issuance from 2022. Here is the approval showing the driveway inside the view shed. I do want to point out when they resubmitted, the permit had expired at that time in 2024. So when they resubmitted, the permit you see before here, it had expired. Exhibit C from the applicant, showing the layout of the driveway into the view shed. And here's the proposed landscape plan from the applicant. The applicant is proposing the following landscaping: a mixture of tea olive asmanthus, autoleucon laurel, jade distilium, oak leaf hydrangea, deodar cedar, red oak, emerald green giant, limelight hydrangea, green giant arborvitae, emerald green giant, lemon lime nandina, creeping gardenia, daydream loripetolum, Nellie Stevens holly, red maple, and drift rose. And these are the specimen trees referenced in the applicant's letter of appeal that were removed. This is the flipped version that I created back in August of 2024 that shows the green as the new driveway. And I basically inverted the house. I flipped everything. And this is what I presented to the applicant back in August of 2024, showing an option where no variance is needed. So any encroachment in the view shed also is reviewed by the design committee. And the design committee is a committee composed of the community development director, city architect, city arborist, and if necessary, any other city staff as required to provide design review of the rural view shed. So the design committee met on May 27th and had the following comments. The design committee recommends denial of this variance request. It is the opinion of the design committee that no hardship exists for this rural view shed driveway encroachment, and city staff provided an alternative solution where no variance is needed by placing the driveway along the western property line. After packets went out, we received a letter of appeal from 1014 Linden Lane. That is the neighbor to the west. And here's a letter of opposition. Excuse me, not letter of appeal, letter of opposition from the neighbor at 1014 Linden Lane. Here's the view from Cogburn Road to Linden Lane intersection. View from Cogburn Road. View from Cogburn Road on the northern side. You can make out the area over here. And view opposite side of the street. Here's a view of the property. Eastern view facing Cogburn Road. Western view facing the house that has the letter of opposition that you received. View to the north towards the backyard. And view to the south across the internal facing Linden Lane. Any questions for staff before we call up the applicant?
I've got a question. So the first time it was permitted, that was an accident?
It was an oversight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. And then the permit expired, and then they had to reapply, and it was caught.
Correct.
Okay. Also, when you have a lot with a view shed on it, just say the view shed was put there and it was sparsely planted, is it whose requirement is to plant it? Is there a requirement?
There isn't any requirement to add outside the view shed for existing.
Yeah.
Outside of what's there. But there are rules on what you can plant in the view shed and like change it from existing, if that makes sense.
And does that landscape plan match the view shed requirements for planting?
We didn't go into those details with the design. I mean, I'm not on the design committee.
Right.
But I can't speak to those details of whether or not that proposal met the rule view shed.
Okay.
So Michael, why did we give them the easy way to get it done and then they come back to us with this way? What happened between you telling them to put the driveway on this side to now it's back on the other side? What?
I think that'd be a good question for the applicant.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions for Michael?
Nope.
No. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this time, I would like to ask the applicant to come forward, and if there's anything you'd like to add to that, maybe answer some questions.
Board.
Good evening.
Solomon Lee, business address 2785 Francis Road, representing the owner of 1010 Linden Lane. Sorry if I seem nervous. I feel like I'm at a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing.
No, you're fine. We don't have that capability.
The waterboarding comes later. Don't worry about it.
I expect as much. Yes, so can I start with any questions you might have?
Yeah, so back to my question that I had for Michael. I guess the city gave them a way out to do it easy and just flip-flop. Why did they go back to the original plan?
Well, a couple of things. I'm not sure if you can see, but on the alternative plan, basically the master bedroom suite would be on the roadside. So in terms of marketability for proposed owners, buyers, that would be seen as like sort of an objection for anyone that'd be looking at purchasing the home. Other than that, the primary reason would be because the owner of lot 2, this lot here, one of the exhibits was actually his plan showing his driveway and his backyard, which has an entire like outdoor kitchen and entertainment area. So the driveway being on the left side of lot 1 here would kind of cause some, whenever a car was coming into the driveway, some of the light would be spilling into the backyard of their neighbor, and then any noise coming from the driveway or the garage would carry over to lot 2. So his understanding was, and our plan at the time was to have the driveway for lot 1 on the right side of the home. And so hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah,
And then, you know, obviously, I'm not sure if it was clear in the letter, but Sony EMC came through and, you know, removed a lot of the specimen trees and kind of just more or less destroyed that view shed. So it would be kind of, we understand the intent of the 20 and 40-foot rural view sheds. So with a home being there and that close to Cogburn Road, we think it's a better fit for the community that we do whatever we can to keep the building outside of, you know, away from that view shed into, you know, you'll see the plan on the plan at the landscaping. It's sort of the idea that we have for revitalizing that view shed.
So I guess my next question is there any ability to situate the house at a different angle so less of the driveways in the encroachment?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, our land planner and surveyor kind of tweaked things a little bit. And in fact, the pool was actually moved from the first plan, and the home did come over a little bit more, but they weren't really able to come up with anything, especially given the need for leaving room for the septic, both the primary and the secondary septic systems.
Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
I have the same question about the two things. So the neighbor next door, which side of the house is their pool and everything on?
So
If you're looking at the house.
if you're looking at the house, the driveway is on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And as you go around that corner, that's where the outdoor kitchen and entertainment area are. The pool itself is on, if you're coming around the right side of the house, it's on the far side of the yard. But that outdoor kitchen and lounging area is on that right side that faces the
So the two pools would basically look at each other. And then the house itself that's on the lot in question, is that like a designed house, like, or is it a stock house that? Like
it's a Frank Betts plan. So he was designed. There's some small tweaks, but you know,
it just doesn't look like it was designed to fit the lot, is what I was getting at. Like, a lot of times so you move the driveway. I saw one plan where the driveway was on the low side, and typically we always put it on the high side. So it was moved to the high side, and then you're wrapping all the way around to get parking in the back. Is there a reason to have the parking in the back?
That is a good question. I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, that's all I have.
So I guess I have another question, like, so my driveway and my neighbor's driveway, it would be the same as if they put the driveway on the other side. And then we have vegetation fencing. Now, I'm assuming they'll do vegetation fencing if their pools and the outdoor kitchen are right next to each other. So I guess my only comment is if you flip-flop again and do it the easy way out and plant vegetation to kind of block the light from coming in. I understand the master bedroom thing, but that's also insulation and soundproofing and whatever can be done, but I don't know. That's just my thought. If they're gonna have to do vegetation for fencing and privacy anyway, why not put the driveway back on to the left side of the house?
Good.
Any other questions? Do you have anything to add to that?
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, seeing no more questions for the applicant, thank you. I will open it up for public comment.
We have none.
We have none, okay. Then I will close public comment, board discussion.
Thing I needed to say.
So the neighbor that wrote the letter is the one that is right next to them, right? Okay. But the property that the side of the property that we're talking about is the far side.
On Cogburn.
So, I will say I have a property in this exact same scenario about 1.5 miles north on the same exact road. And we designed the home to fit on the lot. And we did it with the intent of moving it as far away as possible as Cogburn Road. I'm having a very hard time selling that home because of Cogburn Road. And it is 90 feet from the road. I imagine as a spec home for this one being 40 feet to the driveway, let's just say 60 feet or plus or so to the side of the house. Mine is the whole right side is a garage. And I did that design to try and deter the road as being an issue. I think the road is going to be a major issue for you. I think going even closer to Cogburn or Hopewell, whatever it is not a smart decision. But that's just my little bit of tidbit for you. Otherwise, I have to agree with the design committee's recommendation. I think that the 60-foot rural shed is there for a reason. But to your point, there is no rule. If it's completely clear, you do not have to plan anything. So reality is that you could literally build this house and see the entire thing from the road and not have to plant a single tree. But if it's a forest there, you can't touch it. So I do believe that there is some issues with that rural view shed that needs to be examined. But for this case itself, I just think that there isn't a hardship. You can flip the house instead of taking a stock Frank Betts house. Design something a little bit better. I would caution to design something that is going to be very soundproof and pushing the garage or however to try to do that. But that's just a recommendation. So, yeah, it's a slippery slope. And I feel like that because the house can be flipped, because the house can be designed to fit this property better, I kind of wish that the whoever was in the neighbor had some more explanation or was at least here to say why. To me, I would think I would be more opposed to having my pool next to, and maybe that's why it is, not necessarily the rural view shed, but that's just my 2
And
cents.
I don't know, did he know that option, the flip-flop option, the neighbor?
Unfortunately, we don't have that
Yeah.
tidbit of information. So, what else?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Because this is going to the BZA. I will make a motion to recommend denial of V25-131010 Linden Lane.
I will second.
Okay, so we have a recommendation for denial to the BZA and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Good luck. All right, moving on. Courtesy reviews. 6C, V25-14435 Champions View Drive.
The applicant is Gary Warren, and the owner, Jonathan Stover, is here to be the representative tonight. The address is 435 Champions View Drive. They are seeking a variance to section 3.14B UDC to reduce the 25-foot minimum side yard to 15.2 feet adjacent to the east property line or proposed home addition. Here's the aerial. Zoning, showing the AG1 zoning designation. Background information, the applicant purchased the property in July of 2021. The single-family home was built in 1992, and this is located in the Champions View subdivision off of Francis Road. Here's the site plan. And here's a zoom in showing the proposed addition in the 25-foot setback line. Here is the letter of appeal that is in your digital packet. This is from the applicant's letter of appeal detailing an arrow and I believe a Cocker Spaniel where the proposed location, the garage is to be built. The applicant has support from 6 property owners, 415, 420, 425, 430, 445, and 455 Champions View Drive. And here are the support letters, all in one sheet, which I might recommend next time for ease of purpose. Here are the elevations. These are existing conditions. And here's the proposed construction plan showing the build out. And here's a zoom in showing the 1-car garage and then the little walk entryway. So it's 16 feet across and the entryway is 4 feet. And then the garage is 12 feet. Here are the construction plans showing the proposed garage addition, and there's the walkway, and then the 1-car garage. It is a city staff recommendation to explore removing the entry door and to move the garage inward. That would reduce the 9.8 variance request by 4 feet to 5.8 feet.
But it would still need a variance.
Correct. This is a blow-up showing the entry door, which city staff thought exploring this option was a good idea. Here's the back area. And again, I circled what would be the jut out or the door on the other side, the 4 feet. It was moved inward. And this is facing the neighbor to the east. The brick is to match all the exterior elevations, and they're proposing, it looks like brackets along the windows. I believe they're faux windows, but I'll let the applicant speak to that. Here are more building plans showing the garage and then the bonus space above it. I believe the applicant said in his letter of appeal is going to be a home office. And here are the septic lines, which the applicant argued in his letter of appeal, the back of the property, why he couldn't put it back there. Showing more septic details. This is the view across from Champions View Drive to the south. View to the north, which is the backyard. View to the west. And view to the east, where the side where the variance will be. House photos. And you can see right here, the pink, that is the property line staked by the surveyor to kind of give you a lay of the land, per se. We have about 3-ish feet from the property line to the concrete of the driveway. And you can see how it slopes downward towards the rear of the property. Any questions for staff or call the applicant?
Can you go back to the site plan, please, Michael? All right. You're right there. Is there a drainage easement on that right side?
There is.
20 feet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Pretty much right, goes right under the concrete of the driveway, or like right next to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This new structure would be more than 10 feet or would be outside of?
It would be
that
outside, yeah.
easement?
It'd be outside of the easement, yes. That, follow my line right here. That is the beginning of the drainage easement right here.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. The pipe, which I rarely see, is actually, it's not right down the middle. It's farther on the east. Not that that matters, but it does if there was damage.
Okay. Okay.
Can you, are you done? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the first picture that you showed? Was that from the south? So from unit to the
This
the
is
west
facing
of-
south. Yeah. So
to the, that's what people in the two houses that didn't give support.
yeah, I think it's just 1 yard.
Yeah,
There's
that's-
one house. Yeah.
So they're not looking at the house at all.
Correct. Yeah. It's the directly across is pretty heavily screened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Michael? Thank you, Michael.
Mhm.
All right, would the applicant like to come forward? And if there's anything you have to add to Michael's presentation?
Hi, I'm John Stover. Thanks for your time. A couple things to add. I don't know if the address was wrong, but one of the neighbors directly across the street did sign and advocate, so they did clear. We've made several variants and changes to the structure, the design to try to optimize the space but keep it practical. I think it's as tight as we can get. The build lines and where septic tanks are and the way the house sits on the property, this is really the only spot I've got. I don't have anywhere else to build a storage shed because of our covenants, anything else. So this is kind of the best option I've got. I've got kids and stuff, right? So I'm not looking to do anything glorious or glamorous. I've got space within the parameter of my driveway where this sits. I could still park a car beside this new garage, still on the driveway. That's how much space is left on the existing driveway parameter. So again, we're trying to be thoughtful. I worked with my neighbor second round. They approved it as part of the HOA review. HOA board reviewed it. They've signed again. So I'm trying to follow protocol and procedure best I can. Any questions?
Got it. Thank you. Any questions?
Are there any other homes in your neighborhood with carriage houses?
Sorry.
Any other homes in your neighborhood with carriage houses?
With garages? I don't know what you mean by carriage house.
Oh, garage.
A garage, yes.
Yeah, like
So
an attached third car, right?
yeah, so there's actually two houses down across the street. One of my neighbors in the last few years actually built a unattached garage. And same kind of space, same kind of, but his is not attached at all. I've only been in this neighborhood 3 years, so I couldn't tell you who else has done what. So he's the only one I know.
Okay. It sounds like it fits the style.
Okay. Any other questions for that? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Jackie, do we have any public comment?
We have none.
Okay, then I'll close public comment. I think it looks better with the,
I do too.
Me too.
so architecturally speaking.
Yes.
And I disagree with the 4 feet. Sorry, Michael. Because when
And
you're,
do they recapture the 4 feet in the back? Like, you can't, I mean.
No, because you have that side door on the side.
also,
This is essentially just adding that to where you go in the front and then into the house.
So if you take this door out, there would be no exit.
yeah, but
Yeah,
if,
correct.
the
You wouldn't
closer
have
the-
a door from the outside into your home. You would have to go through the garage
Yes.
to get in.
the closer it is to the house, the harder it is to pull in the
Yeah.
But that's the other
And then
thing.
you
Yeah.
have to get your doors open in the
Especially with a
garage.
And it looked like
I built
that's
mine
where the
like that. I
stairwell
didn't spread it
was.
out far enough.
You see them all like that.
Mhm.
They're right next to it.
No, but that's, I think, also structurally where the stairwell is going to go to the office upstairs. So if it would just move some things. But I'm fine with keeping the
Yeah, architecturally speaking, I think it looks good. I like the detail. It looks like it's going to match the house. I think it's a pretty good presentation. Got a drainage easement there. Can't go any further. You got all these neighbors that are saying they're cool with it. So for me, architecturally speaking, I'm fine with it.
Me too.
Thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Seeing no more thoughts or no more discussion, I will make a motion to recommend approval to the BZA for, let's see, 6C V25-14 435 Champions View for the variance requested as presented. I will make a note that I think our staff, or excuse me, our board, architecturally speaking, likes the 4-foot front door. It adds a little bit more character to it. So recommend approval as presented.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, good luck. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on. We got more. 6D, V25-15 Birmingham Highway.
Do you have a 60?
We don't have any paperwork.
No.
We don't have a 60, so.
Yeah, it's all digital.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like only some, they only printed some.
Yeah, we only print something if something changes from the packet.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Save trees. The applicant is Oscar Horasharabi, and the address is 15925 Birmingham Highway. The applicant is seeking the following variance. Section 3.14A UDC to reduce the 60 feet minimum front yard to 48.4 feet for an existing single-family home. Here's the aerial showing the property on Birmingham Highway. Zoning is AG1. And background information, the applicant purchased the property in July of 2018. The single-family home was built in 1987. And the proposed home addition connected via a breezeway to the existing single-family home meets setback requirements. Here's the site plan. As you can see, the red or orange, excuse me, is the removal of the driveway because the applicant did their best to not seek a second variance and be over the 20% lot coverage. So the orange is the removal of some walkway and driveway to get to under 20%. And as you can see from the site plan, the blue is the existing structure from 1987, and it was built over the setback by like 12 feet. They are connecting via a breezeway the new home addition, or if you want to call it that, in the rear, but that meets setback requirements. No variance is needed. They're only seeking a variance to the existing structure from 1987, and they're proposing to modernize it to match the existing home. Here's the letter of appeal that is in your packet. And here are the renderings. Right here is the existing home. As you can see, they'd certainly modernize it with a brick water table, new shutters, change the siding to match the home. And you see the stone accents in the front as well. And everything is one story. And here some more information. The applicant was nice enough to give us a sample board showing the siding and shutter color, including the stone accents and the brick accents. Here are the elevations. Again, on the right is the existing home. And on the left is the proposed new home addition. And it feels like the same one. I'm going to skip ahead. Just keep flipping. All right, this is site photos. This is across from Birmingham Highway, direction to the west. View to the east, which is the backyard. View to the north, which is a side yard. And view to the south, which is another side yard. As you can see, the house is, in certain areas, is pretty well screened from the street. More photos of the existing home. Any questions for staff?
Can you go back to the site plan real quick? So is there no rural view shed here?
No, because it's not a subdivision.
Got it, okay.
Good
And then
question.
if this building was not going to be attached to this and they decided to build that residence, then they'd have to come for a variance to have a house in front of
Bingo.
okay. So by attaching it, it's essentially just reducing the setbacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They don't need a variance to allow a guest house in the front.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Michael?
No.
Thank you, Michael. All right, would the applicant like to come forward? And if there's anything you have to add to that, sir? Good evening.
No, just I'm trying to build a house for the lady, Miss Kushbu, and she tried to keep the old house for her parents. So we decided to have the house very similar to the existing somehow, one story on slab, and attach it through the breezeway. So it's going to be blended together as a one home. So for that reason, we have to have front setback issue. So we came to the city to solve the problem.
Got it. Thank you. Any questions for the applicant or? No? Nope. So good.
I have an addition.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thanks for reviewing my application. I will make sure before the next meeting, my purchase date was March 2018, and I think that was
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a,
letter. Put your letter down. Yeah.
I have also the letter from neighbor, the support letter.
Oh,
okay,
Other way.
great, does go a long way. Okay. Thank you.
And that's the
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a great presentation too, by the way, your packet, just all the designs and everything like that. It really helps kind of bring it to light. So thank you for that. Mhm. Okay, seeing no more questions for the applicant. Any public comment?
We have none.
We have none. All right, I'll close public comment. Board discussion.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah,
I mean, I
architecturally
think,
it looks great.
yeah.
I love adding it to another house.
I agree.
No.
And that they've tied it in so it doesn't look like it was a separate house.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Looks
I'm
like
gonna
one.
remember that trick.
Yeah, I would agree. So, okay, well then, with that said, can I get a motion?
I will make a motion to recommend approval because this is going to BZA, did we say?
Yep.
Of V25-15 Birmingham Highway as stated in the documents.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion to recommend approval to the BZA and a second. All those in favor? Aye, it's unanimous. Good luck. Thank you. Have a good evening. All right. So moving on, we'll still be in courtesy reviews, 6E. So we'll do 6E and CF, or 6F, excuse me. The 7 Brew Drive-Through Coffee, 12875 Highway 9. Site and landscape review, and then the building review.
All right, this is a two-part presentation of courtesy review of 12875 Highway 9, and it's for a 7 Brew drive-through coffee. The applicant is Mr. Tom True, and he has some representatives here tonight, the architect, and as well as engineer that will present the plans. So this is the courtesy review of the site, landscape, and building plans for drive-through coffee building located 12875 Highway 9. This is zone T5 within the Deerfield form-based code. Existing use right now is a vacant lot. So this is the location. Just want to pinpoint it. It's in Highway 9, close to Windward Parkway. And you see adjacent businesses. One is Walmart. You also have the California Hand Wash just slightly northeast of that property. This is just a closer look of the site. As you can see, it's vacant. Of course, this aerial view was taken maybe 2003 or early 2004. I'm not sure if there's still some trucks in there, but they used to park their 18-wheeler trucks. And then you will see that there's some existing vegetation, trees. And so I invite the applicant to present this site and landscape.
Jackie, real quick, what you just
Okay,
said.
go ahead.
You said that there are some existing trees?
Yeah, so currently, like especially the back, the south property line and some to the east side of that. Up north, I know there's some Highway 9 or GDOT is doing, so I don't have any photos of what exactly the existing condition. However, I have some photos at one point looking at it. So it's not like a lot of trees.
Okay.
I know there's one here in the entrance. This is a July 2024 image, images from Google Maps. So I'll go ahead,
Cool.
call the applicant so they can present their.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening.
Hello. I'm Max Pontrelli. I'm the operating partner for Rocket Brew, doing business as 7 Brew. We're excited to be here and hopefully excited to get this site developed and open up. We've worked closely with Bob at city staff to get this site designed and took a ton of the feedback that he had to incorporate it, as well as working on landscaping plans to make sure we're meeting city code. Any questions
Got it.
for me?
Okay.
That's all I got.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Any questions?
That's just for the site, what we're looking at.
Correct, yes.
And then to landscape, and then we'll entertain questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking, Jackie, is because it says on the site plan, the existing tree canopy to remain is 0. So I'm assuming all those are going out. But at
Yes.
what point is GDOT going to come in and take a lot for this?
Where's the order window?
So the ordering occurs in line, and you have a position called a texter. It's very much like the Chick-fil-A style, where someone's got an iPad, takes an order, sending it.
I just discovered coffee at the age 47, so I'm very excited about a new coffee place.
We're excited to get developed.
It's a pretty cool concept.
It is.
Coffee quick,
Yeah.
I do like it.
finish it and get back in line.
I mean, there's another place down
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Fast pass.
There's another place down the street that's 45 minutes if there's one car in front of you. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Regarding I'm assuming this is a dumpster on kind of the south end of it with some fencing around there.
Yes.
Did you guys discuss with Bob, do you have any kind of visuals or anything like that, or would that come on with the building? Kind of looked at it a little bit, but
We'll enclose it. It'll have 3 walls around it with gates in front of it.
that's
There
gonna be
wasn't a
required.
lot. It was at but
Okay.
I think the other attempt to kind of shroud that, soften that edge, and so growth matures, then
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
So you're not going to be able to go inside at all. It's just completely drive-through.
correct. We do not have any indoor, but that pavilion there is created with some thought of a customer walking up, getting their coffee, and sitting down and enjoying it. There's always going to be a walk-up window as well, or a walk-up door where we can serve customers outside of a car.
Okay.
Are the retaining walls that are in front, are those for like an aesthetic purpose, or are they needed for grade?
On that corner,
Yeah, you're gonna put
we
something
wanted
on
just to
them?
kind of create plateau. There will need to be retaining walls with the grade there, but we wanted to plateau it just to
Plateau,
kind
give
of
it a look.
create a place for people to hang out.
Think being on that road, you'd feel a little more comfortable drinking
Yes.
coffee with them there.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Closed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions? I think the only thing that I would have to add is typically we would like to see a little bit more detail with the trees and stuff like that. But you guys are right on Highway 9. I mean, it's going to be a open view into that. And I think whatever you're doing to this area or this particular parcel is a benefit anyway. So
Is there going to be one of those ugly walls in front of it? Because there's one on the other side of the street.
no, because it's on the high side.
Oh.
The Walmart's right.
Yeah, Walmart's behind it, and you got Kroger with the 12-foot wall. that-
Yeah.
Drop
backside of it.
and nothing but
They put the
parking.
wall on the other side.
And a
not
sea
on
of
this
pavement.
So, okay. All right, so any other questions for the applicant regarding site and landscape? Okay, thank you.
Anything's an improvement.
So, Seeing no more questions, then do we open for public comment?
I just want to add one more
Oh,
thing.
yeah, please, go ahead.
For staff comments on the site and landscape plan, we would like to provide trees on a landscape strip located in the south property line. So because if they're removing that, we would like to see some variety of trees that will make it look I know it abuts Walmart, but it's good to have that trees, not so much to screen the coffee shop, but instead of just a bare landscape strip. So that's something that we want, and I don't know if the board agrees with that. And also provide an engineer stamp drawing for retaining walls. So all of this, we'll incorporate during the final review next month.
So I do have a question though with that said, and I actually tend to agree with that. Even if it's not something that's going to necessarily cover it, it's just going to be a little bit more vegetation,
right,
to buffer between hardscapes and parking lots. But on the plant schedule, it has quantity of 3-inch caliber glories, October glories, 2-inch caliber autumn nails. But it has quantity of 5, quantity of 6, quantity of 19, and quantity of 18, but then it has totals 11.
So based on the landscape,
Is it only, because it's only the 2 trees essentially that consider the coverage as far as the 9,900 square foot to basically fulfill the obligation as far as the canopy? Is that right? So you're planning the Distillium and the Carly Rose, but those necessarily don't count towards your tree coverage, right? The minimum tree coverage. So I think I just figured it out. So it's basically 11 trees. The rest of them are just shrubs.
yeah, because if you look at the area here, it looks like they're going to remove all the existing trees.
Yeah, correct. I'm talking about the plan schedule.
The plants, okay.
For the replacement. So, okay, cool.
And also they've identified here that the existing red maples to be removed. So that's another thing too, if we can keep those or plant a new trees.
But you said that you'd recommend on the southern side.
Yeah, the southern side. Yep.
Okay.
So that's something actually because this is still a courtesy review and they're going to submit an LDP. And that's where our arborists will have to have a closer look of what their site and make some other recommendations.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Did you guys have anything to add to that? Okay.
I think with the understanding that we're pulling out a couple of more mature maples along that western edge, we've introduced, not the same amount, but more maples. Some mature vegetation.
Would you be opposed if we recommended doing like 4 more, maples or something like that along that southern border, like the staff recommended?
I would not, no.
Okay. 2-inch, something like that. Okay. Okay. All right. Seeing no more questions, thank you guys. Jackie, public comment?
We have none.
We have none, so we'll close public comment, board discussion. Any issues?
Add trees, I'd like to see an odd number.
Yeah.
Not an even number.
He said I asked 4. You want to ask him for 5?
Well, then I'll take it
I'm okay with that.
I've always
to
heard,
9.
I've always
It is
heard
a
you always
thing.
plan odd
It
numbers.
is a thing. I don't know. It is a thing.
Is that right?
No, I've always heard from landscape architect.
Yeah.
Always plan odd numbers.
That's so funny. About
It's in design too.
It's in design too. You
Yes.
design.
And I was wondering why. I said, no, we need 3, not 2. Okay. Okay. So seeing no more discussion, do we want to make a motion? And or recommendation?
I can make a motion. So this is going, is this going anywhere else? Going to HZA?
Coming back to us.
Coming back to us for second round?
No.
For
Well, I guess
final,
so, yeah.
it's gonna
For
come back.
final.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
So right now, we
right
just
now
want
we're
to
just
get
approving
everyone's
what's
recommendation.
happening and recommending.
Yes.
making a recommendation.
Any changes?
So let me ask you this. Well, this is a courtesy review. Can we
Yes.
just go ahead and approve it? If we say a condition to put 5, an odd number of,
We can put that, but then we have to present it back to you to make sure that that was incorporated. And then, because I
But
know
that
you
could be at the
wanted to
same
see some
time as the
visual.
next presentation? It could be at the same time as the next time they present? A more
Yes, but it's
detailed
more
schedule?
detail,
Yeah.
and we have now comments from staff too, like arborist, the site engineer, any
We just let
additional
them
comments.
do it,
Yep.
and then it comes back to us?
So it's good to
Yeah.
capture your recommendation here so they can incorporate it on their plan. And that
Okay.
way, when we present it back to you, it's more complete.
Okay. Okay, I'll
Did you
make
get all
a,
that?
I think so.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve item 6E, 7 Brew Drive-Through Coffee at 12875 Highway 9, the site and landscape review, with the recommendation to plant 5 specimen trees. You want to specify what kind?
I would just say 2-inch caliber trees.
Okay. 5 2-inch caliber trees on the south side of the site plan. Otherwise, as presented.
I think that's great.
If we say 2-inch, do they have to stick to 2-inch? Could they do 3-inch?
No, it would just be a minimum requirement.
So we can say
Okay, minimum. Okay, because they're
Okay, with a
planting.
recommendation of a minimum of 2-inch caliber tree.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. So we have a motion to recommend approval based on adding 5 2-inch caliber, minimum 2-inch caliber trees on the southern end per staff's recommendations. And we have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, great. All right, so moving on, same thing. 7 Brew Drive-Through Coffee, 12875 Highway 9 Building Review.
Good evening, Matt Turton with Vickers Design Group at 1000 Abernathy Road, Northeast. I reside at 432 Matheson Place Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. And again, just to piggyback off of the site and landscaping that you've already seen presented today, this is for the building, cooler, and pavilion that would accommodate the site. And as we get into this, this has already been reviewed thoroughly and comments have been picked up to kind of address some of the overarching concerns with our initial approach, and again, to align with some of the city's review comments initially. And so again, we have the main building and cooler, attached cooler. The building itself is approximately 525 square feet of retail space, kitchen space. The attached cooler is approximately 200 square feet. And then we have the awning or the canopy that covers the drive for covered service. And then as we get into the site, again, the arrangement of those buildings from kind of east to west being the main building, the cooler, and then the pavilion that was already presented to you all for kind of public engagement and consumption of the beverages that they would have purchased at the establishment. So this is a little bit greater detail about that. The floor plan and the pavilion, as you can see, we also have a mechanical access level above. And then I will push over to our roof plan, mechanical equipment screened by screen walls, and the height, obviously, of the roof in the front of the structure. Proposing a outdoor gas fire pit in the pavilion with venting through the roof. Here are the elevations. This would be from the kind of the north and south views, with the main building being the main kitchen area and service window, door, all being at the height of the structure at the far east side of the site. And going back, you get to the cooler, which has been designed to, again, accommodate a more residential style. And then materials that have been discussed and reviewed have also been shown here. We indicate a brick water table. We indicate board and batten cementitious siding, as well as some cementitious trim. And then we have wood brackets proposed. Get into the east and west views, you have much more slender view of the structure, and you can see the canopy extending out over the drive lanes. The windows are proposed as wood-clad aluminum, also to enhance the character of the building. Here's the pavilion, open structure, wood trusses exposed, brick water table, and then the fire pit that kind of matches the same aesthetic. Sections. And then here's the dumpster enclosure, the trash enclosure that you were requesting a little bit more information on earlier. So as you can see, we take that brick water table that we've shown on the elevations of the structure, and we wrap the exterior sides of it. The interior faces, you can see, are exposed CMU block. Then the gates are also a little bit more robust and the enclosure very nicely. Then we'll get to the renderings, which say more about this quickly than any of that did. But you can see, again, the cementitious siding, board and batten, wood trim accents, the brick water table, the pavilion in the rear, and asphalt shingle roofs and canopy. As you exit the service lane, drive-through lane, this would be from the south looking to the site. You can see the hillside sloping up towards Georgia State Route 9. And one of the considerations in this layout has been the dual drive, which will, again, kind of going back to the site, but it allows for more cars to queue internally on the property, which eliminates or at least tries to alleviate some of that backup that contends with traffic flow patterns on the street. There's the view.
Great, thank you.
Questions?
I have some.
Yeah.
What are your overhangs?
Overhangs are shown at 2 feet. They're 24 inches right now.
Way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much. So a couple things I see. I think your cupola on top of the pavilion is way too large. It needs to be brought down. These are just going to be some of the things just through my head. I think that cupola needs to be half the size. Is that for purposes of venting for the fire pit below? Or is it just
not.
more aesthetics?
It's aesthetics, just tying in the front
Shrink it in
structure
half.
to the back.
Okay, I'd shrink it in half. I think your overhangs, especially like on your gable ends, 2 feet is way too excessive. I think, 8 to 12 inches max.
Yeah, the gable ends may be actually smaller. I was referring to the eaves, I guess.
Well, even then, I mean, from your rendering and from the drawings, it looks like it's 2 foot all around. So I think that,
Pull those in.
I think that reducing that to 8 or 10 inches, A, is going to save you costs, and B, is going to look a lot better. Then also, I think you have, so on the renderings, you don't have them at all, but on the plans, you do have SDLs on the upper sashes. I would recommend upper and lower sashes. You have in the valley of your main building, you got a raised hip right there. I would just get rid of it. I think you could just have 4 valleys on either side of each one of those gables and get rid of that raised hip. Again, save you some money.
Simplify.
I think it takes away from the architecture. And I would say absolutely no on the scalloped gables. I just do like a 3 foot vented gable vent there or something like that. The scallops just don't fit with this architecture.
Believe that was a comment we received through those original discussions. So
That was Bob. Well, I'll talk with Bob about that.
I also want to add just that the only reason the cupola was like that was Bob's request. But
Yeah.
we could totally make any adjustments that.
Got it. It's huge. Yeah. I think save you some money, cut that in half, cut your overhangs down. They don't need to be 2 feet. Get rid of the raised valley with the extended peak on the main portion. It's just not necessary. I get it though, as far as because you just have that the 4 gables, that is going to be difficult for rainwater, but we can let you guys figure that out because you're not showing any kind of downspouts or anything like that either. But it takes away from it. And the scallop, yeah, I'll argue with Bob on that one any day. I think that needs to be more of like a louvered vent or something. I like the idea of having some accent in there, but the louvered vent versus just taking that board and batten all the way up, but the louvered vent is going to be much more appropriate for this style and this architecture than the scallops on there. But as far as everything else, I really don't see anything else. I mean, I would just make sure the brackets that you guys use are more, I would even just make them more simple, right? Just almost like a kind of crescent or something like that, like a half crescent instead of some sort of like funky detail in there. Again, save you a little bit of money on that, just going with a standard bracket. And I think that's really all I saw. I think coming through on the final review, if you can have like just a slide that has like the brick on there, the actual color of the paint, the actual roof color, it looks good, right? But just to kind of put that extra bit on there, so when we look at it, we're not going to have any else say. And then also too, when they go through and you build this thing, I think it's just going to add the character to it. So, other than that, I think the only thing I would say is I think it would look cool with, instead of having the white windows, have black. But if you're doing wood, you said clad or no? Clad exterior or aluminum clad?
Aluminum clad.
Okay.
Aluminum, yeah.
I think black windows would look cool there, but I'm not,
Are your shutters a natural, like a stain wood? What are the shutter color?
Yeah, they were shown in this rendering as a wood stain.
Match. Yeah.
It's like the timber and the corbel.
Well, it kind of ties in like that, the wood details from the pavilion. I would almost do those black.
Yeah, I was
like an
gonna
iron
say.
ore or something like that, and leave your lintel above the stained, right? I'm assuming that's a cedar lintel above it.
That's right.
So that cedar matched the rest of the brackets and stuff like that. But then your shutters, I would paint those like an iron ore or black or something like that. I think that would make that pop out, and then maybe just keep the windows white, right? And then that ties the stark contrast between the roof. And again, I don't know, are you doing like a cobblestone gray or is this like a moire black? You know what I mean? So that would kind of tie that roof color into the body of the building itself. Other than that, that's all I got.
I'd like to see the cupola I'd like to see another design. It's not adding anything, but it really is detracting. I don't care for the way it looks.
Bob must have been off.
Yeah, but it does appear that you are going for more like a craftsman type style, and I think stay in that lane and don't wander off into the Victorian scallopy cutesy stuff. And keep it simple. I agree with the overhangs. Is the one that's the drive goes under? Is that gable extended beyond those columns for a reason?
It is,
Give
that
it a
provides
second
coverage for service to that,
Mm.
to that car in that lane.
It just looks odd. I mean, just because the way it's extending so far beyond. I don't know what a solution would be, but maybe you could explore something a little bit
What is
different.
that distance?
It's at 4 feet.
Oh, it's only 4. I
Well,
think that rendering just makes it
maybe it's rendering.
I don't know, I feel like that pitches too much on that.
It's too large, first of all, and I think it would help to reduce it, but the overhang just seems way beyond the columns to me. But if it's a function thing, I mean, we could maybe deal with it, but maybe just explore some options with that.
There's the walk-up order window.
That is on the
other side.
Other side.
Okay.
I need to know where it is.
Oh, yeah, good question.
Sorry, this way.
Yeah, it should be mirroring the drive-through on the other side. We should have a sliding door right there for us.
Where is it?
We're saying it should be there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, maybe modify that.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
I think in the latest design iterations that just beyond this, they got it incorporated.
Got it, okay. All right, what else? You guys like this design? Yeah, okay, good.
Just to speak to the canopy overhang, there's a table that an employee stands at just right in between these two pillars to serve those cars. I would love for us to try to work this and figure something out, but there is a very utility.
That helps.
And maybe beef up the columns. I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that is,
Well, what size are those?
yeah. And maybe the render, I don't know. What are they? Do they say?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know the
This
size
is
of the
like a market
columns?
set, right? This is not a.
The column, 8?
Yeah, and they're only 10 foot apart. Talking about the overhang, I'm talking about the entire roof, like overhang
Yes,
on the
I
main
agree with
structure.
that
Okay,
also,
okay, yeah.
but also the overhang here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just, it's something about it. It's just off. But it might be that the pitch is so big. If they reduce that, it might help it. It just looks too big for its legs.
Could they match the pitch of, I mean, it looks like.
You mean the span?
It's
The span.
The span
Yes.
that's
Same
going
pitch of the roof above.
Yeah,
Okay, it almost.
maybe it's the
I would
overhang.
much rather see that though than like a metal awning or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
Chick-fil-A's got those.
No, it's
Yeah,
just,
no,
I
no,
think
no.
it's just where they had to place them in order to make it function. It's just, it is what it is.
Okay.
I also think the corbels are undersized for where they're going. Do you know what size they are?
Some detailing that elevated.
Oh, there's a detail in the corbel. They look very different.
One on A402. Those are more.
I like those better than what they drew.
See, I don't even think they need to do like the vertical.
They just need to
horizontal.
meet it. I agree.
Yeah, so like you don't even need for the bracket detail,
Just the
A4-021. I don't even think you need the horizontal and the vertical. I would just do the angle. Yeah. What else?
make it half.
I know, I'm like trying to draw, it's not working.
No,
I would definitely be
like a-
interested in seeing the colors and the stain.
That, not that one.
Yeah,
Oh, and not do the back piece?
Yeah.
or the top.
So this is the actual structure. You don't have this
'Cause
piece
it-
and then that piece. It's literally just a core one. You can get those.
Yeah, there's like a,
ProWood Market
Yeah.
has those. or-
yeah.
Keep it simple.
Okay. Ralph, any comments? No?
No, I like the flat stuff.
What's that?
I'm still thinking about the dumpster.
Oh, yeah. All right. Cool. Any more comments? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Seeing no more questions, we will open up for public comment.
We have none.
Close public comment and discussion.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So I think those are all valid points as a courtesy review. Do we need to vote for that, or can we just?
So the only thing you're voting tonight is just a set of your recommendations to be
Okay.
incorporated to the final review version of the plan.
Okay.
So if we can
Okay.
highlight all of those
Yes, I will.
points.
All right,
yeah.
so, and you guys chime in if it,
Mhm.
all right, so I will make a motion for approval with some recommendations for the building, review. First recommendation would be to reduce in size and explore possible options of a different style cupola on top of the pavilion. The second recommendation would be to reduce overhang of the main and secondary buildings of the roof overhangs from 24 inches to 8 to 12 inches max. 3 would be to shutters, explore some paint colors for the shutters. What am I on, 4? 4 would be SDL bars on both upper and lower sashes. 5 would be have a sample, if not a sample board, at least sample colors of the brick, paint color, roof color, gutter color, the lights, a little bit more detail on the exterior features and colors of the structure.
Scallop detail.
Remove the scallop detail. Would recommend a vented gable or just a slatted gable vent in a triangle, not the square or rectangle ones, but triangle. So essentially the same thing, but no scallop.
Simplify corbels.
Yeah, simplify the bracket detail and remove the horizontal and vertical portion of it, and give us a detail of a simplified angle bracket. And then what about the
roof?
Oh, yeah, the hip.
The valleys of the main building, removing the built-up hip in the valley, all 4 sides. And then you said the overhang. What did we talk? What did we?
You did the overhang. Oh, you mean the drive?
The drive-through extension.
I think it was just explore.
Yeah, maybe explore the 4-foot extension on there to see if there's some sort of detail or something. Maybe it's even if it's a bracket like you've got in the detail of the pavilion, something like that on the end, just to kind of soften that up a little bit.
Reducing the roof pitch.
I think you said that one. Oh, no, the pitch.
Well, the overhang.
Not the pitch.
You had talked about that.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what else? I think that was really it.
Did you do the shutters and the
I
black
did.
color?
The walk-up window.
Yeah, we'll need an oven.
Oh, yeah, on the rendering, we just kind of want to see the opposite side of the drive-through, the walk-up window, if there is going to be one, and what that's going to kind of look like. I think that's it.
I think so.
I think that was everything.
So those, Jackie, we would
Yes.
recommend
Captured.
approval with those recommendations. Yeah, I think that's it.
Incorporated for the next meeting. Yep.
Incorporated for
Okay.
the final review. I think you guys come with something like that, a little bit of modifications. This thing's a slam dunk, so. Okay. So we have a motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. We'll see you in a month. All right, so moving on, courtesy reviews. We have no final reviews tonight. We have no new business, but we have, well, actually, we do have some new business. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Since you've come on board, and no offense, Michael. It's what you've done to help prepare us, your communication, and just your explanation and all the questions that we've had. I know we've thrown a lot at you. I sincerely do thank you for everything you've done. I'm glad you're continuing to stay with the city of Milton. That's a good thing.
Yes.
And I totally understand you don't like being here until 9 o'clock at night and all the fun that comes with the DRB. But sincerely and from the bottom of our hearts, I just want to thank you for everything and wish you nothing but the best. Crunching numbers across the hall.
Across.
And
Budget. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. That's the fun stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So, but thank you very much for everything, and we're really going to miss you, and we appreciate everything you've done.
You're welcome. And likewise too, it's been an honor to serve this board for almost 2 years, I think. And in the process too, I learned with you all. And I think it's exciting to look at the creativity and the design. But I think my calling is really more on the numbers and just kind of, being a public administrator as a practitioner of public administration, I think that's where my heart is.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. And
Well,
of
thank
course,
you.
Ken, who has been here since.
It's been fun.
It's been
Fun.
fun, yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, does anyone have anything to add, or no more new business? Good luck. This last time we see us, Rima, we got you, right? All right. All right, good. Okay, cool. Then finish up new business. Any old business? Seeing none, I will make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, great. We got out of
Thank
here
you.
before 10 o'clock.